What's up, guys? We are live. The red light is on. It's Friday. It's MMA Weekly Roundup. I forgot to push that button, so you guys.
I was gonna say, when are we gonna get the official intro?
We got to do that. We got to do that. I'm Dave Van Auken. To my left, family member, a sister of mine. I kind of said it today on the post. Guys, it's Elle Dawson, but today's not just a normal day for Elle Dawson. It's her birthday. What's up, Elle?
Hey guys.
You feel different today at all? Any?
I'm in like a sugar coma. Oh, I definitely woke up with back pain. I feel like I'm 30 today. Like 100% I feel like I'm 30 today, and I need to plug in my computer because it is gonna die.
I know like guys don't ask girls these or whatever, but so today you're 30, you said?
I am 30 years old.
Wow. Stop.
Still baby faced.
Yes, for sure, sis. Dude. All right, so I said enough of good things about you before and on a post, but I should say something really nice to you now because I'm going to. But like, dude, this is the definition of Elle Dawson. This is Elle right here to a T. So it's her 30th birthday tonight. It is Friday night. And Elle, where do you live? You don't have to say exactly where do you live, but where do you live? Where close do you live?
Like South Florida. I'm like
South Florida.
25 minutes north of Miami.
Yeah, you can literally be walking on the beach. You could be having a candlelight dinner outside. Your girls could have taken you to sushi or something in a beautiful restaurant in South Florida. You're doing a MMA Weekly Roundup here live on Fight Bananas. Elle, this is why we love you.
Best birthday. Talking about MMA with my favorite peeps. I'll be honest, I'm in kind of a sugar coma anyway.
Go for it.
So my friend brought me like the nothing bundt cakes, like the little ones, like the personal size ones.
Yeah.
Which are still huge, by the way. Like that is a large serving for one person. That is a 2-serving cake. She brought me not 1, not 2, but 6 of those gluten-free chocolate chip bundt cakes. And I've had 1, and I'm already in like a dying sugar coma, and I ate a bunch of cookies. But yeah, I'm not going anywhere tonight. After this, I'm going to my couch to be a vegetable and watch Sons of Anarchy with Grant. That's all that's happening tonight.
Are you rewatching the show or watching the show for the first time ever?
First time.
Where are you at right now?
It's getting chaotic. I have no idea how all these characters are going to survive another season and a half. None
of them do, but you're at season 6, you say?
Yeah, we're like mid season 6, I think.
It's one of the greatest shows of all time, and it's so funny. I'm corporate Dave. I'm like middle class America to a T. And like everyone, I remember when it was out, they're like, "You're watching a biker show." I'm like, dude, it's incredible.
So good.
Yeah, it's like about family. It's drama. It's not a biker show at all. It's a biker show, but it's not. Yeah. It's amazing.
I mean, it's about organized crime. I don't know if it's about family. It's about the world's most screwed up family. That's for sure.
That's true. Did you? And I think you already watched it now. And dude, it's been out for 20 years. So spoiler alert, this is the show right here. Tell me it wasn't one of the most craziest scenes ever. I like kind of got teary-eyed watching it. Season 3 or 4, when his best friend, I forgot his name, Turtle or something. He went into the prison. He took the death.
Oh, Opie?
Yeah. Opie, yeah. Yeah, the worst thing ever, right?
I was like legitimately sad for 3 days.
Dude, me too. I remember like
the only character that shouldn't have died.
Exactly.
Everybody else deserves to die.
And like it's a TV show, and like you kind of like sometimes a lot of guys should die or be whatever, but it's a show, so they just prolong it and they don't really die.
Well,
it's one of those.
We look up the spoilers. Somehow Tig makes it all the way to the end, and he should have died like 9 times already.
Right.
We're not even at the end of the show yet.
But when he like walks into that and like pushes the main guy out, I'm like, what is he doing? And then like the baseball bat, I'm like, oh my! When that happened, there's another scene. I think you got there already. There's another moment like that. You're like, oh my God. Like, wow.
Pretty much anything with Otto. That's how I feel. I'm like, oh, I didn't need to see that. But let's move on. Let's talk about some fights. All right,
here we go.
Nobody is here to listen to us talk about Sons of Anarchy.
Hey, you never know. Maybe that's a spinoff show. Guys, we're going to talk a lot UFC 302, guys. Next week, Elle Dawson, she's kind of flying to New York, New Jersey. Her amazing husband, Grant freaking Dawson, is fighting next week. Joe Selecki, Poirier's in the main event. So we'll definitely get into that. But we had breaking news around 2.5 hours ago. So, Elle, we're going to talk about it right off the bat. Ian Gary gets his wish. He gets on UFC 303. couple different opponents out there. He's fighting Michael Venom Page, MVP. I love it. I absolutely love it. What's your first take?
This fight makes so much sense. Like, this was one of the fights that we said should happen for MVP. It was him or Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. And I think the rest of the MMA community was completely in agreement with you and I on that. Like, it just makes sense, you know? It's two good strikers. I have kind of a hot take on this. I don't necessarily think this fight's going to be super exciting. I think the lead up will be. I think Ian Gary is really good at slowing down fights.
Yeah.
And I think that MVP is not as exciting as people think he is in the moment, because people look back and go, wow, MVP is so exciting because his highlight reels are super exciting. But the whole fight overall is kind of boring with like
You're so right.
a couple really exciting moments.
Yeah.
You know? And so I think this fight might actually be kind of slow with some really big spurts in it, you know?
MVP is the usual suspects in a movie. Like, the ending is freaking amazing. You're like, oh my God, people still talk about it. Like, you see the end of
I
MVP's
love the usual suspects.
Dude, it's a great ending, and there's kind of good story in the middle, but it's kind of long. There's some boring parts to it. Gets a little long.
Fair.
That's the usual suspects is MVP. Like, I get that. Like, the ending is incredible. So when MVP finish fights, it's amazing. His first fight, who did they just fight a couple months ago in the UFC? I
Kevin
forgot.
Holland.
Yeah.
Oh,
Kevin Holland, who never has a boring fight. I literally forgot. Like, that's how bad that fight was.
Yeah.
So
no, I think the lead up will be fun. You know, I think they'll both talk a bunch of smack. They're both in the UK. Like, I think that part will be fun, but I don't see the fight being super duper exciting. I think Ian Gary's very measured. He's more measured than Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland is usually like he is exciting. Like, he's the guy who puts on the fireworks, and MVP's so hard to get to. And then we have Gary, who's very measured and very clean and technical with his striking. I expect there to be a ton of feeling out with a couple spurts of exciting exchanges. We're like, oh, somebody's going to get finished, and then they don't. And then, oh, somebody's going to get finished, and then they don't. You know, that's going to be the whole fight, I think.
No, I agree. And especially to me, Ian Gary's going to have so much pressure on him on the card. Guys, it's on the Conor McGregor card. It's going to be the featured fight of the night. Like, it's a big spot, prime spot of the card. I feel like he's going to have a lot of pressure on him to perform. And it's almost like, I don't know, like I can see a big stalemate, like you said. But yeah, I do think they will get into it. Guys, the co-main event switched a couple of days ago, but we all talked about that on Tuesday about Carlos Ulberg got the spot against Jamal Hill. That fight doesn't last more than 2-3 minutes. It says how both those guys fight. They swing heavy. Defense is not an option for them. They just want to throw hands, and that's fine. It's going to be fun. But, where I was getting at more than anything, I know the fight itself might not be great. Elle, you might nailed it. They needed this fight on the pay-per-view card. Like, they needed Ian Gary versus MVP. For one, I think this is a great thing for Ian Gary because Ian Gary's been calling this out for months. One, he wanted to be on the Conor card, and when Conor was on 303, he's like, it's 303 or nothing for me. Like, he when you make that as a statement, like as any fighter or a fight fan, as if I go, this year I'm going to be on ESPN, like, I'm putting a limit.
You better do it.
Yeah, I better do it, or it's a missed opportunity. MVP, so maybe. I thought about it. Who's the betting favorite on this fight, do you think?
Probably Gary. Okay. Because
I
MVP
agree.
just doesn't have the experience in the UFC, and then versus a guy who hasn't lost. You know, like it's hard. It's hard to pick against somebody who literally hasn't lost. So I don't know. I would think Gary would be a decent favorite, like minus 175 would be my guess. Okay. Are the odds released yet?
No, not to my knowledge. No.
I mean, it's just been announced, so
it's so fun. That's like my favorite game.
Sven, I'm kind of with you, man. Like, this is a tough stylistic matchup for Gary, and I think MVP is a really hard guy to fight. We saw that with Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland is usually the longer guy. Ian Gary is usually the longer guy. You know, they're used to being able to implement that nice point fighting style, which is something MVP is elite at.
True.
and very awkward with and really difficult to read. So I could see this being really tough for Ian Gary, like, and also like it's a tough fight for MVP too. Like I said, Ian Gary is very measured. He's very technical. We don't have to like him, but the dude is a great striker.
It's great. And it's funny. That's another, Elle, you're the best. Another great point. I'm really intrigued to see how Ian Gary plays the next 25 days.
Yeah.
Because to me, there shouldn't be a hatred here because there's not.
Right.
He really just likes Colby Covington. Like, if
That
he
makes
tries
sense.
to fake hate MVP, it's gonna be like, okay, Gary, like, dude, even Connor during that rise, like him and Aldo really hated each other. But like him versus Eddie Alvarez, there wasn't like hatred. It was just Connor being Connor and he was wacky. There wasn't a hate thing to it, like if he does a fake hate to MVP, it's gonna be like, we're just gonna, I think a lot of us will see through it and be like, nope, we're done.
Well, and we've already seen it. Like you did that shit to Neil Magny, who's like the nicest dude in MMA. Like nobody hates Neil Magny. So like we've already been there. We've been there. Did
he learn his lesson though?
And he was very quiet leading up to the last fight. I think he had to be because he pulled out of the Luque fight. And when he was under a lot of scrutiny, and that obviously looked bad for him, whether or not he was sick, So I feel like, this is his time to just beat a big name like MVP and keep his mouth shut. So we'll see. We'll see.
Dawson with the comment of the night so far. This is so gold. Please let Carlos Ulberg get cornered by Israel Adesanya and Jamal Hill get cornered by Alex Pieda. That is gold, Dawson. That is fun. That is fun. That is like WWE stuff right there.
Oh my God.
That's funny. That is good. Best thing ever. Alex Pieda. I love it. All right. Oh, one last thing on UFC 303. So said it to kind of broke the news to Elle. This is what I'm doing. So after UFC 302, after Dustin Poirier finishes the story in Newark, New Jersey, Dana White is getting on a private jet heading to Dublin, Ireland, because they will have a UFC 303 press conference. And one thing I love, I think they've been doing this way too. They've been, I think, making big mistakes. When they do a press conference with 6 fights and there's 12 fighters on there, no one really gets their own stuff. There's no back and forth. Every guy gets one question. It's just too much. This press conference, it's Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler, and Dana White sitting in the middle. That's all we want. That's all we need. Guys, it's back. The Dublin, Ireland press conference tour for UFC 303. I cannot wait. It's popcorn. Popcorn, Elle.
Oh, yeah. No, it's going to be pure gold. Like, I hope Conor still has it. I hope he's still got the pop, because we haven't really heard him say, like, it's been a minute since we've gotten like a solid Conor McGregor one-liner.
Yeah.
It's been a bit. So I hope he's still got the juice. And he can like spice everything up and talk the smack. Because Michael Chandler's like, he sells fights well too. Like he'll cut the promo. He's got the character. He does that. He speaks well. But I think he needs a good dance partner here. He needs it needs to be more than just Michael Chandler cutting promos and McGregor incoherently yelling at him.
I think they will. I do think they will go back and forth. I think Conor knows what's on the line here. It's the biggest gate of all time. This could be literally the biggest UFC pay-per-view ever. Like ever. This is it. I think Conor knows that. I think they're both bringing their A game. Talking about bringing their A game. How about Christopher J says, what's up? Guys, we announced earlier today, Christopher J is joining the Fight Bananas family every Monday night here. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. We'll see what's up. But every Monday night going forward, we believe June 3rd is the first show. Christopher J, Cage Side with Christopher James coming back. And we'll be on Fight Bananas. So we're pumped for that.
Let's go.
I thought you had something. Yep.
Yeah. So my question is this the last time we ever see Conor McGregor fight?
No. I said this on Tuesday. Maybe you weren't there. 0%. 0. It's Conor McGregor.
My 100%. We never see him fight again.
Elle, Mike Tyson is fighting this summer against Jake Paul. Like
it's different.
Conor will be back like 5 years, 10 years, 15 years.
Conor, what is the net worth of Mike Tyson versus the net worth of Conor McGregor? Also,
okay,
Mike Tyson can take whatever he wants to fight Jake Paul. So there's also that.
Those are very good points for sure. But Conor McGregor, he's just a guy that every now and then he needs to be in the limelight. Like that's why he fakes retirement. He calls out. Remember, there was a time in Twitter, like anytime someone won a main event, Conor McGregor called him out. Henry Cejudo up to Israel Adesanya. It's like it didn't matter.
I stand corrected. They have about the same net worth.
How much?
It looks like Conor's is somewhere around 200 million and Tyson's is somewhere around 300 million. So he has more. So I stand corrected on that. But it's also, once again, Tyson can take whatever he wants.
Yeah.
And we've got, I think that a lot of people are mistaken that drug testing is going to be more lax.
That I agree with. I agree with you.
The opposite. I think it's going to be the opposite. And
with that being said, like, we have the next month to talk about this, and we will probably ad nauseum. Sorry, guys, Conor McGregor's back for the first time in 4 years. He's fighting in a main event against Michael Chandler. I'm just going to call it out right now. I have Michael Chandler winning this fight. I think he's going to beat Conor McGregor. I just think they're in different phases of the career. I don't think Chandler's a spring chicken either. But guys, Michael Chandler he's still in it. He's in it.
But Conor is huge right now. I think he's going to be so big. There are, obviously, this is all speculation.
What do you mean when you say huge? You mean his body's big?
Massive.
Okay.
And obviously, this is all speculation. I don't know what Conor McGregor was taking when he was outside the USADA testing pool. However, in my weekly boring reading time where I sit and read research studies, because why not? There are studies that show benefits in like muscle tissue growth and muscle tissue synthesis up to 7 years after you stop taking steroids. Right. Like there is still so much benefit that you get when you stop taking steroids that you maintain for years after. So I don't know. It's a little, it depends what Conor McGregor shows up. Conor McGregor can absolutely knock out Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler has lots of gifts. He's a very explosive athlete. I don't disagree. I think Chandler has aged as well. You know, he's been in some really tough fights and he has been knocked out a few times by featherweights as well, you know? And so the brain is so weird. Like we watch Michael Chandler get knocked out by a featherweight and then have an absolute war in the UFC where he took tons of hard shots and was fine, you know? So it's hard for me to say. Conor has that knockout power. And then if I think about the fact that he probably has been taking something outside when he was outside of the testing pool, the benefit that may add to his power and his strength. Can Chandler win? Absolutely. But I'm leaning towards Conor getting the knockout.
Wow. All right. Real quick. I have a pro Conor knockout thing in a second, but this is pro Chandler right here. I know Chandler's fought 5 times in the UFC. We got the win versus Dan Hooker. He lost to Charles Oliver, which is a really good fight, guys. If you guys missed that fight, go back and forth.
Great fight.
Chandler had him beat. You ready for this one? I feel like Chandler had Oliveira hurt more than Alex Pieta had Yuri Prohazic hurt more in that moment. One referee didn't let it go. One referee did. Some guys, get back better. Hey, Oliveira did it and won. No disrespect, but Chandler had that man hurt in round 1.
I agree.
Lost to Justin Gaethje.
Great fight.
Great fight. There you go. There you go. Amazing fight.
That's the war.
And before Gaethje just lost to Max, Gaethje was on. That was maybe the best run he's had in maybe ever. Like this last 2-3 year run was a great run. Then he beats Tony Ferguson, one of the greatest knockouts we've ever seen. And I know that might not sound great to beat Tony, but it was how he did it, I think, is bonus points. And then he's just lost to Dustin the Diamond Poirier, who's fighting for the championship, who's about to be the world, the lightweight champion of the world. I don't know. I just think Chandler's still in it. That's that. Let me do real quick pro Conor. We got to go to 302 quickly, guys. Last one on Conor is I think the matchup is very similar to Eddie Alvarez. I think Eddie and Chandler are very close, stocky strikers. And one, that's why Eddie and Chandler were so good, because it was the same guy in a weird way. And Connor is the kryptonite to that type of fighter. He's just so long and lean. It can make you miss just barely. It's like that you see it in slow motion. He barely misses, and then he's just coming right over big. And if he does that to Chandler, that could be tough.
If he does that, I think he puts him away. Now, Chandler can out-wrestle McGregor for a couple rounds. I think if he tries to stay there and strike with him, I can see him. There's just so many opportunities. It's like a guy fighting Sean O'Malley. It's like if you stay in front of Sean O'Malley long enough, there's so many opportunities for you to get knocked out. I feel the same way about Connor, where his counter striking is so elite, even if he's getting older and he hasn't fought in a while. I will say this is an insane stat. I think it was Kevin Holland. It was like all the times Kevin Holland has fought since the last time Conor McGregor won, and it was like 16 or something freaking insane like that. I wish I remember the actual stat. Grant told it to me this morning. But it's like, that's nuts. That was the last time Conor McGregor won a fight in the UFC.
That's so wild. It really is.
And ages.
Yeah. All right. Guys, UFC 302, we're around 8 days away. Elle and Grant will be flying out, I believe, Monday or Tuesday, right, to New York, New Jersey. So exciting. Not even just Grant. Our guy Grant is on the card. Of course, Dustin Poirier's in the main event against Islam Makhachev. Dustin was here on the show just a couple weeks ago. Not even that, guys. Paul Acosta versus Sean Strickland is such a fun fight. I cannot wait for that fight. So much more. So let's just kind of chop up 302 for a little bit. Next week, I can't wait. Ben Benaz will miss you, Elle, immensely. Rafael has already reached out. We will have Rafael back on Wednesday night. We're going to miss the hell out of you on Tuesday, Elle. We don't know what we're doing for that show. You and Maddie are both gone. I might be talking to a god dang wall by myself for 2 hours, but we'll make it work somehow, some way. But
somebody in the comments be like, I'll be your co-host, Dave, and we'll pick.
Just ask me questions all day long.
We'll run a contest in the comments for a new co-host to replace me.
I might be talking about WWE for an hour. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But 302, I know, of course, your husband's on the card. You're, connected to that in so many ways. Other than Dustin, though, we will get into the main event. Is it Costa and Strickland? Is there another fight on the card, a prelim? Phil Rowe is fighting Jake Matthews, right? Jake Matthews, I believe, right there, right next to Grant, I believe. A couple other fights.
The schedule.
You're pulling it up?
Schedule. Yeah, I'm going to pull it up. Because I'll be honest, I haven't. It's been a minute since I looked at it. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. I actually am really excited to see Basil Hafez fight again. I think he's super good.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
I'm really looking forward to that. And guys like that are always interesting to me because sometimes they have amazing debuts against high level guys like Steve Erceg. And
I've never been a Mickey Gall guy. Never been.
Oh no, I think Basil should beat him. Here's my thing though. There are also guys who have amazing short notice debuts against really good guys. And they're really good in that moment. And then we just don't see them quite put it together after that. So I'm interested to see what kind of guy Basil Hafez is. I think this is a great matchup for him personally, style-wise. At least from what we saw in the Jack Della Maddalena fight, which was awesome. Like he looked great in that. Normally, I'd be excited for Nico Price and Alex Morono. I can't really decide because I feel like they're both getting kind of old. And I don't know that.
I still think that'll be fun, though. That will be fun.
I think it'll be fun, too. I feel like they're at least, like, aging together in their careers. Like, they're both at, like, a similar spot where they're still both really good, but they're just a little bit older. So I'm hoping it's still really fun because I really like both.
I was just going to say, if one of them was 2 years from now and the other one was still here, it would be like a wash because one of them hasn't aged yet. They both have aged equally. Like, they're both a 7 out of what they used to be, So...
Right.
I like that one.
No, I agree.
Phil Rowe and Jake Matthews is fun.
That is a fun fight. Yeah. I really like Dos Santos and Randy Brown. Like both those guys. Randy Brown has always been like a guy who I think is really, really good. And he's just kind of been up and down a little bit. Dude, you're right. I have like a thing with like really explosive, athletic African American fighters.
You do.
I see the potential and I'm like, oh, you're going to be awesome. Randy Brown is a really well-rounded guy, though. He really is. He has a lot of tools, guys. I don't know what it is.
Elle, your amazing husband, Grant Dawson, is the exact opposite. He's the most vanilla white man, unathletic, hardworking, best dude ever. So you see like Randy Brown and Phil Haas, you're like, what?
What are you? This is like, you don't understand. I go to physical therapy at a facility with like NFL players all the time.
Yeah.
Like they're like a site for like the combine. So the guys that go to the combine come through there first to do their PT and stuff. And I see these guys and I'm like, I literally just look at them. I'm like, I'm going to recruit all of you guys into MMA. I'm like, you would be so good. The heavyweight division needs you. I don't know what's wrong with me, Dave. Okay. Anyway, we're moving on. We're moving on. But Dos Santos, who he is fighting, is also really, really good and really underrated. I feel like people just don't talk about him. He's got a good record, 24-7, 1. And he's a very well-rounded guy too. So I just think that's going to be a really technical fight. I'm just excited to see that.
I like the heavyweight matchup.
Huh?
The heavyweight matchup. Like, let's see where Jalton is at.
100%. I love Jalton Almeida. I still think he's elite. I think he needed to. I think 9 times out of 10 he beats Curtis Blades. To be completely honest, I think he made a mistake. No. Grant actually got knocked out like that once too. It was like his only loss before he got into the UFC. And it's like, it just, I think it happens.
You said sometimes. 9 out of 10 Jalton Almeida beats Curtis Blades?
I think so.
No.
Maybe 8 times out of 10 with adjustments. I think Jalton Almeida is still getting better and he's still young in the sport. And I think he got caught. I think he just.
I think you're caught. Low on Mr. Curtis Blades right now. Just
Maybe
a little.
I am. Maybe I am.
A little.
I feel like it's weird to see him in a title shot spot right now. Like, I don't think any of us were expecting that. It seems weird that that's how this has kind of played out. I think very highly of Jalton Almeida.
Nothing wrong with that.
Clearly, Curtis Blades doesn't fall into the rest of my category along with Randy Brown. But no, and
I didn't even go there. I was over that. I was over it, Elle.
I think highly of Curtis Blades as well. I don't know. I'm impartial to a super, super high level grappler that has great back control. So and to be able to see somebody like that at heavyweight where it's so rare, I have a bias towards that for sure. But I think he's still very elite. I just think he made a mistake in the Curtis Blades fight and it cost him the fight. You know?
I agree. And I just looked up Romanov. I thought for some reason he's 17-2. It's a great record, right? So I looked him up. His UFC wins are not great UFC wins, and his 2 losses are not good losses. Like, he's 17-2.
Volkov isn't a bad loss.
Huh?
Volkov isn't a bad loss.
It's not about Tybura? Marcin Tybura?
It's a medium loss. I mean, he beat De Lima.
Jared Valdez.
He beat Pizarro. That's a good win. Jared Vandera is obviously not a great win, but
Chase Sherman is fighting for the Game Bred Bare Knuckle Heavyweight Championship.
His wins are not great. I will agree.
Yeah, his wins are not good.
But but Volkov isn't a bad loss.
It's not a bad loss. I just felt I felt his wins. I remembered his wins were better than I thought, and then his losses were like, oh, he probably lost to 2 top 5 guys. He has not.
No, I think this is an opportunity for the UFC to put Jalton back on a path to title contention because they need that at heavyweight. They need those guys, you know. They want to make sure they have consistent contenders in that weight class because they haven't always had that at heavyweight, and they're in a good spot. So I do think they're setting him up well. I think this is a really good matchup for him.
Why do you think Why do you think Kevin Holland got added to this card kind of late? And this fight came out of nowhere. It kind of doesn't make sense either.
I had a theory about that. I don't know if it's real or if it's like a super weird take.
Co-main event theory?
Paulo Costa pulls out of a lot of fights. And a couple days ago, week ago, Sean Strickland was saying that the contract wasn't signed yet.
Right.
I don't know if that was true. I don't know if that was just UFC took a minute to get the contracts out because, stuff happens. But it seems to me like we're a week out. It seems like Paulo Costa is going to fight, at least at this point in time. But in the event that he did pull out, Kevin Holland is the king of short notice replacements. And I think that fight is much more important. I think the Sean Strickland fight is much more important to the card than the Michael Olajaychuk fight, obviously. So Sean Strickland versus Kevin Holland, way more fans are going to be excited about that than the fight that Kevin Holland is currently slotted for. So I might be a weird take, but that's my theory, is that's why he got pushed onto that card.
Okay. And then we're right here. We're co-main event Costa and Strickland, which is wild. It's being, to me, very underrated, very overshadowed, which is awesome. Hot take on a big pay-per-view, UFC 302 to me is a really big pay-per-view. Could be the last fight we ever see Dustin Poirier. Huge. Islam is the pound-for-pound best fighter alive today. It's a huge fight with a great co-main event. We just went through 7-8 other fights. It's a really good card. To me, this is a really high-level pay-per-view. I love that there's no UFC this weekend. I don't know. I love it. Just it gives it so much time to breathe in space. And I feel like the main event is getting a lot of love, and it should. But this co-main event is, to me, very underrated. It's very underpromoted in a weird way right now. Next week, it will pick up because of Strickland and Costa's kind of personality. But I can't wait for this fight. I'm very intrigued. Costa is on a better run than what people think. And when you lose a championship like Strickland does, like maybe it's hard to get up again. Like,
dude, and
I don't know. I like Costa.
I kind of do too. I think Costa looked really good against Robert Whittaker.
Really
I had Whittaker in that fight and I picked him on betting bananas. So I was sweating. Like I wasn't sure he had it. It was super close. He almost finished him. And like, man, Sean Strickland can, like, anybody can get knocked out, and Sean Strickland has been knocked out, and he does get hit. He has he does a good job keeping himself safe with his like kind of weird shell that he does, and being so tall. But man, Costa's an explosive guy, and dang, he looked good in that fight with Whittaker.
And let's be honest, Strickland's second loss before was the Pieta, and I know Pieta and Costa, of course, are a ton different, but just that explosion and the impact of a punch that Costa can do, or a head kick, Strickland sometimes doesn't take those well. Like he gets one big pop, could be the night over. So I like Costa a little bit. Main event time. Will Dustin Poirier finish the story in the main event against Islam Makhachev? Can't wait.
Important statistic. Every time Paulo Costa has fought on a pay-per-view, the champ has lost their belts. And it's not just one time, like it's four times. And it's every champ. So that's on cards where there were multiple champs and the belt changed hands in every single one of those fights.
And you want to hear another one? Dustin Poirier is 6-0 in the UFC in the month of June.
Oh, totally doesn't matter. But all these statistics, we are pushing them out there. We are manifesting for our boy Dustin. It's happening. It's happening.
I don't want to be too hyperbolic, but I will be right now. If Dustin wins, to me, it might be one of the best or the best moment in UFC history. I just think in the kind of the New York area, the crowd to me will be very pro Dustin. Even if he retires, it doesn't retire. And that's almost like, guys, let's move off that point for a second. If Dustin wins, and honestly, I know I've been corny and saying it over and over again, but it really is. If he finishes the story, if he finishes his career an undisputed champion, not even being, there's been other really good champions. Everyone thinks Makhachev is number one. Like no one thinks he's not the pound for pound fighter alive. Grant's in his goddamn weight class, wants to beat him one day, and Grant's like, yeah, Makhachev right now is the best. Like he is. He's the man. There's just no disagreeing right now. If Dustin does this, oh my goodness. I got goosebumps right now. I got goosebumps.
Oh, it's going to be incredible. I agree with you. It's the ultimate Cinderella story. Like it's just perfect. It really is. Like, I think that's up there with that amazing moment of Korean Zombie retiring in Korea. Like just these elite moments and that are cemented in time. Like it would top all of them, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just think he's so beloved. Like he really is. I know that, like, I'm not trying to, I don't know anyone that doesn't like him. Like Brazilians like Dustin, like Dagestanians. He's a boxer, and he's done it. Like if you're young or old, he's respected and loved. It's just whoa. Christopher J. Hot take right here. I don't think Islam is the pound for pound best. His resume doesn't support ranking. For one, Chris, sometimes it's not about resume. Sometimes the resume can be underrated, overrated. Just watching him fight, the man has no holes, can do it all.
And the guys he has beat, Charles Oliveira isn't a good resume.
Oliveira, Volkanovski twice, Bobby Green, Hooker.
Like
Arman Tsarukyan.
Yeah, Arman, you can't fault him for not having
Thiago Moises. Yeah. It's not the best resume ever. It's not, but it's right. And he's in his prime. He's fighting Dustin right now. Like it's
not his fault Dariush pulled out,
Yeah.
It's never been his fault that the RDA fights didn't happen. Oh, no, he had one. He pulled out of one, I'm pretty sure. But the other two were RDA had to pull out. So it's like it's not like he's been avoiding them. Like they just haven't happened, But but none of this stuff is his fault. Like he's not defending it against the light. He hasn't defended the lightweight belt. I've seen that argument plenty, but that's not his fault. The UFC wanted the Volk Islam fights to happen.
Well, they wanted one, then he wanted to fight Oliveira. Oliveira pulled out. Like
exactly. So it's like, and they're like, oh well, we'd rather have this than a short notice replacement for lightweight because this is a bigger fight. And so it's like you can't fault the man.
Yeah, for sure. To me, sometimes you could. It's an eye test. Like you're in gyms, you see it. Like you see guys. Like you tell me sometimes, hey, Marvin looks good. Like you can see guys in the gym and just know what's up, right? All right.
Well,
last point.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
I was just gonna say, I think the whole Islam's not better than I think Islam is probably better than Khabib in the gym. I do believe those stories.
Yeah,
I don't think they're just. It's just hype being built. No, I believe it. I believe it.
Like again, like it's back. I watched both of them fight in big fight championships, and Khabib was so, and I respectfully, I think I have Khabib on a high level. He was amazing. He never lost in the UFC. He did everything he needed to do and all that stuff. I have nothing negative to say about his fight career. I just think watching them, I think I'm watching something better when I see Islam. I just think he's that much better of a striker. I'm watching something I think better. And that's what makes it fun. It's a submission threat
is stronger. Yeah. I think his striking is cleaner.
Right.
I think he's got more power. I 100% agree with you. I really, he doesn't have holes.
Yeah, he doesn't have a hole.
You have to catch him. Like
the gilly hole. All right,
Gilly is what's going to get him. The gilly is happening.
Last question.
Okay.
What is next? The main event ends, and we're going to go both angles on this. Let's start on the other side. If Islam wins the championship, defeats Poirier, what is next for Islam Makhachev?
It's probably it makes the most sense for a guy like Arman to be in that next position. Okay. I could see, maybe them doing it makes the most sense.
Okay.
It really does. I could see Gaethje as well, but you can't really give it to Gaethje after losing to a featherweight. So, and then I was going to say it would be really cool to see Max, but Max is booked against Ilya. So it's probably going to be Arman. Why are you looking all?
Elle is the best. She's my sister. I love her so much. She's amazing at fight bananas, but she's got it so wrong here. If Islam wins, and if Conor McGregor wins later that month, they will do Conor McGregor versus Makhachev. It will be the biggest fight in UFC history.
At what weight? Conor McGregor is never making lightweight again, Dave. Dude. Never.
Data will be like, I'm giving you. Are you ready for this one? I honestly think Conor would make boxing money. I think they would Conor, you're making $40 million for this fight.
That doesn't mean he can make the weight. Maybe
Stop
at
eating.
170. Maybe they could
Stop
fight at
eating.
170. I'm hoping. I think Islam might move up, honestly. His
He
weight
might
cut
win.
is
If
tough.
there's a 165, they said they got an announcement coming soon. We'll see. We'll see.
I'm telling if Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler, if they're like, oh, this fight, just kidding, this fight's actually at 165. If they say that, I'm gonna be like, I told you so. Which that's probably
you've
not
been
what
saying
the
it forever.
announcement is, but that would be cool.
Who fight Leon? He might. Seb. Hey, Seb, welcome to the stream, man. You got good takes. I appreciate you all night long. You've been with it. He might fight Leon. He might.
I could see that
will.
for sure.
Yeah. All right. We did that with Islam. I was joking a little bit. I think it's Arman. I really do. I think Arman, Madison Square Garden, they'll be the co-main before Stipe and John. To me, it's a mega card. And God forbid one of those guys don't make it. Islam and Arman could main event
Right.
MSG. It's fine, right? So that's what I think for sure. Dustin finishes the story. His beautiful daughter's in the cage. She runs in the cage, gives his dad a hug. They got hot sauce. They're throwing hot sauce. Jolie's there, and Jolie Poirier's. They're celebrating. You guys are cage side now. Granted, Dustin and buddies, you're crying out. You're like, oh my God. All this stuff is happening.
Don't ever let Dave make a movie, guys.
It's incredible.
Be hot sauce in people's eyes. It'll be chaos.
What happens? What does Dustin do next? What is Dustin's next move?
I think Dustin retires, goes out on top.
Yep.
Closes out one of the most legendary MMA careers of all time. Gets inducted to the Hall of Fame. Becomes a millionaire selling hot sauce. Saves all the kids in Louisiana, with his charity. Rides off into the sunset because he deserves it, man. He deserves it. The dude has given so much of his life to the sport.
And what I said about Conor 25 minutes ago on this show about, he'll be back fighting in Cowboy Stadium in Saudi Arabia. It's 8 years from now. When Dustin Poirier retires, my heart says that man never fights again. Like he never fights in the UFC again. He is with his family. He does.
Maybe a celebrity boxing match pops up and he gets a really fat payday. I hope that for him.
Maybe. I just don't think he does it. I just think he doesn't need to. I think he's got enough money. It's not about money for him. I think he did what he needed. I say it all the time. Like, if you have a goal in life and you put so much into that goal and you took your whole life, really. He's older. He's got a beautiful family. He's got more money than he ever spent. And then he's also got successful businesses. It's not about doing it again. I think he's done. He retires. He never fights again. And I don't think he trains again. I think he's done. Done.
Yeah. I could see him training. I could see him doing some stuff, but I honestly hope he stays retired because sometimes when guys come back, I think it's because they lack purpose in their life. And I don't think Dustin's one of those guys, No. Conor McGregor has plenty of money. He's not fighting for money. He's fighting because he needs, like you said, he needs the attention. He needs to be in the spotlight. Light. Dustin's not that guy. He's got a family that he loves and he has other purpose outside of MMA.
You know how much I love Fight Bananas and how much I love doing this, right? I love it. I was with Dunkin' Donuts with my girl today, Taylor, and I sent you the picture. If I didn't need to do this, if I had $8 billion, I would love to watch fights still and talk about it. I wouldn't do this. I have so much purpose in life with my kids. I wouldn't have to do it. And I think Dustin's the same way. He's like, guys, I got a beautiful daughter. I just want to sit
ready
at the
to
beach
be just a dad,
and watch her grow up and be a dad. I'm telling you. All right. We are about to leave. There's one little thing. I did this on purpose now. It's been 44 minutes. We really didn't mention a Grant Dawson fight. I know we don't want to break it down. We're not going to break it down. We're not going to talk about it. I will ask you one thing, and if you tell me right away, hey, Dave, shut it down, I will. Are you allowed to talk about that secret thing that he's doing next week beforehand or no?
I actually don't know what you're talking about. I think so.
All right, never mind. So. Shut down.
He posted about it. I don't really know the details.
Okay.
There's going to be something cool on Friday that will premiere on ESPN with Grant and Star Wars, and that is about the extent of my knowledge, to be completely honest.
Wait, spoiler alert! Elle just tells the whole thing. I was going to say.
I think I can talk about it. I'm pretty sure, but Like, they let us like post videos of Grant with the lightsaber.
Yeah, I saw a little of it. So yeah, a cool thing.
Yeah.
Hey, Friday.
I don't know exactly what it is. I don't actually know what the video is going to be. I
can't
know
wait for that.
There's going to be something on Friday, and it's going to be super cool.
All right. I almost tweeted like out a couple times, but I was like, I don't know if I'm allowed to. So I'm in a vault, Elle, a vault. Yeah. So there you go. All right. We're out of here. Great show. Elle Dawson, happy freaking birthday to you, dude. You're the absolute best. Did you buy the a week ago? You sent me a picture. Did you buy it right there in the spot?
I did.
Did you? That's the birthday money gift. There you go.
Let's go. I have a new
wear
power
that soon?
suit.
Anaheim. Let's go.
Anaheim.
I'm
gonna
so
do
pumped
it.
for that. That's July 6th, Masvidal versus Nate Diaz boxing.
Ooh.
We will be there live, and maybe others. We'll see. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But all right, Elle, hope you had a great day. Have a good week. Big week for you. Big week for Grant. Wish you guys the best. Maybe we'll do something fun that night. We'll see.
Yes, definitely. Plan on it.
Okay, there you go. We'll plan on it. Yeah, we guys. By the way, UFC 302 watch along. We will be doing a watch along. We'll be watching Grant Dawson's fight live and the whole pay-per-view. We'll be doing free. We actually have free giveaways that night too, so that's fun stuff. But awesome. Elle Dawson, Dave Van Auken, MMA Weekly Roundup. We are done. I will see everyone next week. Elle's not because she's flying to Newark, New Jersey and enjoying UFC 302 live. You should too. We'll see you guys next week.